Writing is mostly the creative process, and people can help you figure out how the creative process works, but no one can tell you how to create the process. But as with anything that you try to make a profession out of, there's an industry side that needs to be addressed. And if there's one thing Champlain, the most common misconception is that writing is a thing you have or you don't, which is, utter bullcrap. Nobody knows how to write, but everybody's got a voice, and writing is not whether you know how to write or not. Writing is whether or not you know how to use your voice. And most people are just too nervous to, so they place that can't label on it. And once again, utter bullcrap. It's just a matter of figuring out how. First of all, letting people know what the deal is. Second of all,
So unless you have a targeted interest, you're gonna graduate and you're gonna be like, what the hell am I gonna do? So it's really about making connections on campus, off campus, and like keeping those connections. So how can someone who has goals like accomplish those? And this is a way they can look at the book and they can see like students here who have graduated and like what they did. And they'll reference classes, they'll reference teachers, they'll just reference their experience, and from that you can go on and achieve your own goals.
Try to take the best of everything in your life to put into your writing, and if you read something that's excellent writing, take it, steal it. I think any author would be proud that they inspired you to create something to be read by more people. That's the evolution of writing. Definitely. The only way you're going to acquire new experiences, they're not going to be handed to you. You have to be proactive about getting them. If you're a poet, you got to go to readings. If you're a fiction writer, you got to push your work. If you write nonfiction, you have to expose yourself to new things. Otherwise, what are you going to write about if your world isn't as expansive as it can be? I think a skilled writer has two things. They have talent and they have experience. Unfortunately, you can't work on your talent, but you can work on your experience. So if you want to make it as a professional writer, you need to write. Something that happens to a lot of people is they come in here, or they come into the program and write. You can't wait for inspiration to hit you. You can't wait for you to feel right about writing. You have to, it's midnight before the assignment is due, and your assignment is a creative piece of art. What are you going to do? You need to learn to breathe the creativity and the mindset you need to create something. And that's difficult to do. It takes practice. You can't wait for it to come along. Now you can write for any media you want to. Writing is more about putting a phrase onto a piece of paper. Writing is about story and character and plot and emotion. And if you're a writer, you've learned to master those tools. When you've learned to master those tools, you can apply your skill set to really any media. There's more art now than there ever was before. And if you're creative and passionate enough, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to find a good job. The dirty secret, I think, about at least all the people I know who are in this book, even myself, is that we want to help. We want to see people become better writers. We know that the people coming into the program will be exposed to a better program than we were, and we want that. Save yourself a lot of trouble by taking some good advice by people who really want to give it to you.
And I felt like the other books that I've read on writing were more geared towards people that are already out in the world or are already like a young professional type. And this book I really thought would help with students. It would be that you shouldn't be afraid to share your work, even if you are afraid to share your work, you should. And I felt like the other books that I've read on writing were more geared towards people that are already out in the world or are already like a young professional type. And this book I really thought would help with students. I was like, I was good at English in high school, so I'll be a writing major. That's gonna be easy.
And then you met Tim Brooks and it all changed.
Yep.
All the programmers are coding for 8 hours a day, and I wrote a poem. Oh no. Save yourself a lot of trouble by taking some good advice by people who really want to give it to you.
And I felt like the other books that I've read on writing were more geared towards people that are already out in the world or are already like a young professional type. And this book I really thought would help with students.
I never planned that, nor would I have gone there under my own volition if it wasn't almost given to me.
That sounds like a really cool experience.
It was. I danced.
Only from you would I consider that a normal answer. So we talked about what it takes to be